you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AAUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Good day, Africa. You're welcome to the AAU TV Mid-week news coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities. To our top stories for today. In higher education, Algeria launches anti-plagiarism drive in higher education. In health, Kenya's abortion debate intensifies after tragic death. In business, oil workers strike shut down Nigeria's energy regulations. An international UN condemns Iran's rising death penalty use. Please stay with us for more news on the AAU TV Midweek News. My name is Jemima. Deladem Dotesy. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break, and now to our news in detail. Algeria has announced plans to create a national plagiarism detection system that will monitor scientific publications and theses across its universities and research institutions. The initiative, unveiled in September by the Minister of Higher Education, Kamel Badari, aims to combat academic fraud and strengthen research integrity. The centralized platform, set to be integrated with Algeria's national online documentation systems by January 2026, will detect both plagiarism and AI-generated content in Arabic, French, and other local languages. Experts stress that the move will protect sensitive academic data, ensure sovereignty over intellectual property, and potentially serve as a model for other African nations looking to build their own systems.
Algeria is taking a bold step to safeguard its integrity of its higher education system by launching its own national plagiarism detection platform. The announcement was made earlier this month by Higher Education Minister Kamel Badari after consultation with the National Committee for Electronic Documentation. The system, scheduled to be fully linked to Algeria's national online documentation system by January 2026, will integrate global databases and open source journals. It will also connect the BiblioUniv Algeria, the university library portal, giving students, researchers, and institutions a powerful tool to ensure academic honesty. Artificial intelligence will play a key role, with experts saying the platform will not only detect traditional plagiarism, but also spot paraphrasing, translations, and AI-generated text. Professor Bourari Sefala of Hourari Boumediene University said the system would promote research credibility and strengthen the reputation of Algeria's university while protecting sensitive data on national servers. Scholars believe Algeria's model could inspire a pan-African system to fight widespread plagiarism, reduce reliance on costly foreign software, and build digital sovereignty across the continent. Experts also emphasize the need for awareness campaign, researcher training, and strong policies to complement the new technology. By combining innovations with ethics, Algeria hopes to protect its academic future and perhaps shape the standards of African research worldwide.
Still in higher education, Kenyan horticulturist Professor Mary Abukucha has been awarded the 2025 African Food Prize at the Africa Food System Forum in Dakar, Senegal on September 3. The prize, worth $100,000, honors her 3 decades of research on indigenous African vegetables such as Juta Malo and African nightshade. Her work has transformed these once overlooked crops into vital tools for nutrition, climate resilience, and economic empowerment. By leading projects at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, she has boosted farmer incomes, preserved biodiversity, and influenced agricultural policies across Africa.
Professor Abukucha was recognized for more than 30 years of pioneering work on indigenous African vegetables, including nutrient-rich leafy greens such as jute mallow and African nightshade. Once dismissed as food for the poor, these crops are now valued as superfoods capable of addressing hunger, malnutrition, and climate changes. At Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, she leads climate-smart projects that not only preserve biodiversity, but also increases farmers' incomes in countries like Kakamega and Kiambu. Her work has influenced agricultural policy and placed indigenous crops at the center of nutrition and health strategies. Abukucha described the recognition as a milestone, noting that it affirms a lifelong vision to see Africa's indigenous vegetables valued, accessible, and embraced as a cornerstone of the continent's food future. She emphasized that the honor belongs not only to her, but to farmers, researchers, policymakers, and communities who have worked tirelessly to elevate these crops on the global stage. This achievement reinforces Africa's growing recognition that local climate-resilient crops hold the key to sustainable nutrition, health, and economic empowerment.
In Karabuk, Western Kenya 25-year-old Mary Oluch died after a butchered abortion, highlighting the country's ongoing struggle with unsafe procedures. Her death, reported on Sunday, September 28th, underscores what happens when women, fearful of stigma and restrictive laws, avoid seeking medical care. In Kenya, abortion is only permitted when a woman's life or health is at risk, but dispute over what qualifies as a health risk continues to divide doctors, lawyers, and communities.
This is where 25-year-old Mary Olosh was laid to rest in Karabo, a village in western Kenya. Her son now flips through photographs of the mother he barely knew. Community health volunteer Louise Ochin explained in Luo that Mary likely stayed silent about her pregnancy out of fear of stigma, knowing abortion is illegal and fearing rejection from her community. Mary's case is far from unique. In Kenya, abortion is only permitted under limited circumstances, such as when a woman's life or health is in danger. Yet, the interpretation of health risks remains contested. With legal access restricted, many women tend towards safe procedures. One 24-year-old survivor who chose not to reveal her name recalled how she nearly died after suffering severe bleeding and abdominal pain following an unsafe abortion. Legal experts also remain divided. Lawyer Charles Kanjama, chairman of the African Christian Professionals Forum, has called abortion on demand a crime in Kenya. He and other political and religious leaders reject the use of mental health as grounds for legal abortion, despite some doctors arguing otherwise. For now, many public hospitals do not provide the service, leaving women caught between law, stigma, and the risks of death.
We'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring you discovery. Stay tuned.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
Welcome back from the break into our discovery story. In Paris, France, biotech startup SME is producing the world's first lab-grown cocoa butter, palm, and shea oils using artificial intelligence. The innovation revealed this year comes as the EU prepares to enforce its deforestation regulations in December, which will fine companies importing products linked to deforestation. SME's process cuts production from 2 years to just 30 days, aiming to reduce biodiversity loss, deforestation, and labor exploitation, while offering sustainable alternatives for cosmetics, food, and pharmaceuticals. Experts say the technology could revolutionize global supply chains, though questions remain about regulation, scalability, and cost.
Founder Viktor Sadakov-Kozov explained that this biotech process combines non-GMO yeast strain with artificial intelligence to produce oils that are sustainable, traceable, and cruelty-free. Marketing professor Mark Mazodia said lab-grown oils could cut carbon footprints, avoid pesticide use, and reduce dependency on fragile agricultural systems. SME is already marketing its first products, Noel Silk, to haircare and skincare brands, with plans to expand into food and lubricants. The company also intends to list its yeast database to other fermentation firms by late 2025.
But challenges remain. Regulatory approvals for food use could take years, production must scale to compete with traditional oils, and costs are still high. Still, with the EU set to enforce strict deforestation rules in December, experts believe lab-grown oil may soon become a vital alternative for industries under pressure to go green.
On Sunday, September 28th in Kigali, Rwanda, Slovenian cyclist Deladem won his second world race title at the week-long global championship, becoming the first rider in history to secure both the Tour de France and the world crown in consecutive years by conquering a 267.5-kilometer course in 6 hours, 21 minutes and 20 seconds in a race where only 31 of 165 riders made it to the finish line. The event marked the first time the championship was hosted on African soil, drawing global attention to Rwanda as a cycling hub.
The victory of Pogacar came on African soil for the very first time in the championship's history, where he defended his 2024 title by mastering a grueling 267.5-kilometer course in just over 6 hours. Already last year's world champion in Zurich, he now stands alone as the first rider ever to win both the Tour de France and the World Road Race title in consecutive years, cementing his place among the sport's all-time greats. Speaking after the race, Pogacar reflected on the challenge, saying the week had brought both ups and downs, but the team delivered strong performances and ended with what he described as a hard but beautiful race. Belgium's Remco Evenepoel, who defeated Pogacar in the time trial earlier this month, finished second, trailing by 1 minute and 26 seconds. Ireland's Ben Healy overtook Denmark's Matthias Eskimos to secure third place on the podium.
In entertainment, on Saturday, September 27, thousands of music lovers endured heavy rains at Kumasi's Baba Yara Sports Stadium for Sarkodie's much-anticipated Rapperholic, the homecoming concert. While the concert was hailed as a historic moment for Kumasi, it also reignited debate about the lack of modern indoor venues in the city. Entertainment pundit Ola Michael criticized the National Sports Authority for what he called poor maintenance practice, arguing that the stadium's pitch protection only became a priority when the show drew near. He stressed that pitch covers are vital year-round, not just during big events, especially with rain threatening the turf. Sarkodie, for his part, reassured fans that his team respected the rules, avoided the pitch, and promised an even better show next year.
On Saturday night, September 27, heavy showers swept across Kumasi's Baba Yara Sports Stadium, where thousands gathered for Sarkodie's Rapperholic, the homecoming concert. Equipment was soaked, the pitch turned slippery, and fans shivered under umbrellas and raincoats, but the crowd stood firm. The rain became part of the performance as Kumasi's fans danced and sang even louder. Sarkodie, alongside Shatawali, Kofi Kenata, Efia, Medical, and the Asaka Boys, transformed the stadium into a festival of sound and pride. Legends Obrafo and Reggie Rockstone gave emotional performance, reminding fans of hip life's deep roots. Yet, the rainfall highlighted the bigger issue, the state of Kumasi's facilities. Entertainment pundits Ola Michael criticized the National Sports Authority, accusing it of only acting when major events approach. He argued that consistent upkeep, not last-minute directives bearing use of the pitch, was the real solution. He stressed that pitch covers are not just for concerts, but also protect turf from harsh weather. The NSA had earlier cautioned Sarkodie against extending production onto the grass, warning of fines for any damage. Sarkodie, in response, assured fans that his team respected the rules and would not break them. Despite the challenges, the show ended in triumph. with fans joined by jubilant. For Kumasi, the night was both a victory and a reminder. The passion and the crowd are there, but the city still needs the stage it deserves.
Nigeria's oil and gas sector was hit by a nationwide strike on Monday, September 29, 2025, as the Petroleum and National Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria halted operations across key regulatory bodies, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Midstream and Downstream Authority. The industrial action, sparked by the alleged wrongful dismissal of 800 workers at the Dangote refinery, has suspended crude and gas deliveries, fueling fears of petrol shortage, price hikes, and power disruptions. The strike, which began just after midnight, comes as the Minister of Labour called an emergency meeting in Abuja to mediate between union leaders and industry regulators.
The halting of productions disrupted operations at major regulatory bodies, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Midstream and Downstream Authority. The strike was triggered by what the union described as the wrongful dismissal of around 800 workers at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. In response, Pengasan ordered members nationwide to stop crude oil and gas deliveries to the facility, a move already sending ripples across the energy market. Oil marketers are warning of looming fuel shortages and price hikes, while power plants may also face gas supply disruptions. The strike officially began just after midnight on Monday, September 29, with workers at field locations instructed to stop operations earlier on Sunday morning. Adding symbolic weight to their protests, members also launched a continuous prayer vigil. The timing is critical, as NNPC remains Nigeria's sole importer of petrol and regulators manage supply and distribution. The work stoppage could have sweeping effects on households and businesses alike. The Minister of Labour has called an emergency meeting in Abuja to broker peace, but whether dialogue will resolve the crisis or plunge Nigeria deeper into fuel and power turmoil now hangs in the balance.
The United Nations announced on Monday that more than 1,000 executions have been carried out in Iran in the first 9 months of 2025, sparking international alarm. The killings reported across Iran's prisons are set to target drug offenders, murder convicts, and alleged spies, raising concerns about fairness and human rights violations. The UN warns this surge as a dramatic escalation that defies international law, while Iranian authorities defend capital punishment as limited to what they call the most severe crimes. The latest execution of a man accused of spying for Israel has only deepened fears about how and why Iran is expanding its use of death penalty.
The United Nations human rights experts say they are shocked by what they call a dramatic escalation of executions in Iran, with more than 1,000 people killed in just 9 months. They warn this represents a grave violation of the right to life and highlights that half of the executions were for drug-related offenses, with an average of 9 hangings a day recorded in recent weeks. Iran has not immediately commented on the UN findings, but officials have long defended the death penalty as being reserved for what they describe as the most severe crimes. On Monday, Iranian state media reported the execution of Bauman Chalbi Assel, a database expert accused of spying for Israel's Mossad. He was the 11th alleged spy executed this year, and his case had not been previously reported by media or human rights groups. Rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Iran Human Rights, accuse Tehran of conducting unfair trials marred by torture and ill treatment, disproportionately targeting women, Afghan nationals, and ethnic minorities. They warn that nearly 500 people remain on death row for drug offenses alone. The UN experts have called on the international community to take concrete diplomatic action, insisting that executions on this scale violate international law, which restricts capital punishment to only the most serious crimes.
Thank you for staying with us, and we'll take a quick look at our headlines. In higher education, Algeria launches anti-plagiarism drive in higher education. In health, Kenya's abortion debate intensifies after tragic death. Business, oil workers strike shuts down Nigeria's energy regulators. International, UN condemns Iran's rising death penalty use. Thanks for sticking with us on the AAU TV Midweek News. You can also get interactive with us on our dedicated news hub, tv.aau.org. My name is Jemima. Deladem. Have a lovely day.